Welcome to Lycomingfootball.com. We're talking to Lycoming head coach Mike Clark. And Mike, we're into week number 9 already. Lycoming has a 6-2 record, 5-1 in the MAC. And senior day always brings some real heavy thoughts, doesn't it, for a football coach?
Yeah, I would say so, John. It just gives you the opportunity to kind of reflect on the class and look back to when they arrived and just kind of really appreciate the guys who have hung in there and in this case taken our team from a time where the expectations were high coming off of a playoff year, but unfortunately had a bunch of these seniors that had to play as freshmen. So we struggled for a couple years, but to see them get back to the point where, we had an 8-win year a year ago and we have the opportunity to maybe get to 8 wins this year, I think it shows you, how talented this group has been and allows us to really appreciate everything that they've done for us.
Well, this is the first class you really had a complete hand in picking, and I just wanted to pick out a couple guys that might represent the senior class. I know you have a lot of seniors. We can't go through them all, but 2 men. And again, records don't mean a whole lot sometimes, but it is a measure of what these guys have done. Jaron Campman, 10 touchdown receptions. He could wipe out with 3 more. 13, that was a record set back in 1986 by, I think, James O'Malley. Pretty great kid, isn't he?
Sure. John, when we recruited this class, Jaron was a guy that we felt from a skill standpoint may have been the most talented guy in the class. And ultimately, I think this year is a great reflection of the kind of ability he has. He was a quarterback, and then we talked about making him a D-back, and then he was finally a receiver. And, this year to have 10 touchdowns already and have an opportunity to potentially get close to or maybe set a new school record for receiving touchdowns in a year would be, I think, a great statement for Jaron and also for our program. He's really, really talented and has played this year at an incredibly high level, arguably as well as any receiver that we've had here in any one year in my 5 seasons. I mean, Ryan Wagaman will be the other guy, but Jaron this year has been really good, very good.
Well, you said at the beginning of the year, watch out for him. Another guy that represents, I think, even off defense and offensive seniors is Parker Showers.
But Parker, from his freshman year, did show John a bunch of ability as well, and was in a tough spot. And I think Parker's career numbers will be very good. And you're right. I think what it does is, Josh's numbers. Josh came in and played as a freshman. Maybe when we weren't quite as good as we'd been. Parker came in when Josh was ahead of him, and so I think you get back to where you look at, like Troy Erdman played in the early 90s, and then Corey Sheridan was really like a 2-year player because Troy was ahead of him. And then, later in the 90s, you get a Brian Thompson in place, and, Tim Deasy's numbers maybe weren't outrageous early on because Tim was kind of playing behind Brian, who was pretty good. And I think that's kind of, Josh started that, Parker became a product of that, and it's very similar with Craig now. Craig is a really good player who would start for probably more than half of the teams, if not most of the teams in our conference. But Parker's ahead of him. So it's, we look at him as more being like 1 and 1A than 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Parker, look, great special teams player. He's on our punt team. He's on our kickoff return team. He's got a chance to set a single season record, and he already owns a career kickoff return record over a guy like Ricky Linetti. And so, again, I'm thrilled for Parker that, his name is going to be up there, with some of the all-time greats here. I think it says a lot about him, and his ability.
Yeah, I didn't mean to look over Josh Kleinfelder, how soon I can forget about some of the past. But the thing I was alluding to is Parker is more of a utility player, and especially in the running back kickoffs, who he could, I think this year set a single season record for kickoff returns with 54 yards, breaking a 2009 record by, I believe, Drew Purdy.
Yeah, Parker, I think you're right. Hopefully he'll have, look, defensively, we don't want our guys, hopefully we're not having to return too many kicks, but I would love to see Parker, set that record. He would hold both the single season and the, career kickoff return yards. But he is such a complete player. I mean, he's a very good runner. He's second team all conference running back a year ago. Again, he's a key component of the kickoff return team. Great on the punt team. Catches the ball well. Excellent pass protector. He's just a tremendous all around football player.
Great game Saturday against Wilkes, and of course you're still in it for the MAC championship and a possible playoff berth. Stevenson has a good runner, and I believe his name's Smith, and the defense is going to have to be playing some tough ball. This is a team that's improving.
Absolutely. John, they're for a second-year program. Don't let the record fool you. I mean, they've only won the one game so far, but it took Albright to overtime at Albright. Wilkes had to come back and beat them. The Lebanon Valley game was a 3-point game at the beginning of the fourth quarter, or really with 10 minutes to go in the game. And those three teams in our league are good teams, right? Are all 500 or better. All teams in the top half of the conference. So while Stevenson maybe doesn't have the wins that they want for a second-year program, there's no question that they have made significant progress. And, guys like K.K. Smith are the reason. He's really good. I mean, I was talking to Mitch a little while ago. This is 8 games now of 130 yards a game. It's not, one game of 500 and, 7 other games of 70 yards. I mean, he's really good. And their offensive line is solid. The Reed kid, they play 2 quarterbacks, and the other kid, Anthony Reed, runs around some at quarterback. Defensively, they have some athletes too. So they're for a second-year program, they've made huge strides, and they're going to be very good in our league. I mean, there's no question that they will be a force to be reckoned with. To do what they've done in just 2 years is very, very impressive.
Mm-hmm. They have a great complex down there, and probably easy to recruit. And so going into week 9, how's the team look physically?
I think as good as you can look for week 9. Everybody's got something in terms of bumps or bruises, or, we've been at it since the middle of August. And, at this point, John, it's just, 2.5 months of a very physical sport tend to, to hurt your team, or, just no one's completely healthy right now. So we'll be almost at full strength. And I think that's all you can really ask for at this time of year.
Okay, well, good luck on Saturday. Looking forward to the game, and we'll see you then.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
This is a production of LycomingFootball.com, your 2012 Warriors connection.